Hello everyone, welcome back to my second episode of my KSP Science console playthrough. This video will be entirely voiceover, so no crappy mic this time. So for this rocket, I actually designed it for a flyby of the Mun, just so we could snatch a little more science to get more parts. So the top stage consists of the capsule, Science Junior, Mystery Goo, thermometer, and barometer with a Terrier engine, and then the next stage also consists of the same fuel tank with the Terrier engine, and then 3 more of the same fuel tank with the swivel engine on the bottom, and then 4 Reliant engine powered boosters with 4 wings to help with the aerodynamics to make it easier to control. And I completely forgot the action groups, and also remember to use Bob Kerman because he can restore the Mystery Goo and the Science Junior. Sorry about that, but once you reach about 50 meters per second, you're gonna very gradually turn your ship. Gradually. Now, with the way the Mun orbits and the size of the Mun, you don't really need a perfectly equatorial orbit around Kerbal to, get an encounter with the Mun, but I do want to make it as straight as possible, but as long as you get a circular orbit around Kerbal, it won't be too much of a problem. Now, the general rule of thumb is that by the time you're 10 kilometers up, you're turned 45 degrees, but I'm not very good at doing that. What I personally do is that I usually do my big gravity turn in the upper atmosphere. Also, pro tip, once you're in space, you can use the normal and anti-normal nodes to change the inclination of your orbit. And then after that, you're gonna burn basically horizontal until you get a nice apoapsis of around 150, 200 meters, not too high, not too low. And then you're gonna drag out your maneuver node out of your apoapsis to get a nice circular orbit around Kerbal. And if you're using like an engine that doesn't have a great thrust to weight ratio, the rule of thumb is that when the node in T is around half of your burn time, you're going to want to burn. And since this is our first mission with the Science Junior module, we're going to go ahead and do our observation, and then we're going to restore. Then we're going to make a maneuver node about 90 degrees relative to the Mun and adjust the location on the orbit just to get a nice close encounter with the Mun. And then you're going to observe your Mystery Goo high over Kerbal. And then you're going to do all of your science things. The Mystery Goo, the Science Junior, the barometer, the thermometer, crew report, and EVA report. Do these both when you're high over and near the Mun. In order to make another crew report after another crew report, you're just going to have Bob Kerman come out and take the data and then do another crew report. Once you escape the Mun, then you're gonna burn retrograde at your apoapsis until the periapsis is in the atmosphere. And a successful splashdown. We got over 400 science from that, which is pretty good. So now we're going to build our Minmus rocket. But before we do that, we're going to unlock some stuff on the tech tree. Now, I decided to unlock the size 2 rocket parts and the electricity stuff. Okay, so the rocket I'm about to build ended up being pretty powerful and more than enough to get to Minmus. So basically it's similar to what we did with the Mun, except with a little more fuel in the lander, because I wanted to make this be able to biome hop. And then I added some adapters and 2 fuel tanks with the skipper engine. And for the boosters, I added engine lines just so the gimbal from the skipper engine can control the ship while not draining the fuel from the main tank. Now, I hope you guys are familiar with getting into orbit and doing your science in certain places. So just enjoy watching the rocket and enjoy some Yakuza OST. Okay, so this is the landing parts I am going to have to voice over for this one, because if you're a beginner, this is probably your first landing. So what I would recommend is going for either the Great Flats or the Lesser Flats, or if you're feeling frisky, you can do the Highlands, which originally I wanted to do the Lesser Flats, but I ended up doing the Highlands. And also I ended up deciding to ditch the lower stage because I don't want, it just looks goofy landing a rocket ship that size on Minmus. So to slow yourself down, you're going to burn retrograde. Now, a problem with the Highlands is that sometimes it doesn't automatically switch to surface, so you might have to do it yourself. So at this point I was going around 60 meters per second, so we want to decrease the speed to about like 1 meter per second. But Minmus is pretty hard, well, it's pretty hard to crash onto. Okay, I wouldn't say it's easy to crash into it, but it's easy to land on it. You know, if you know what I mean. So we're about to make our ascent. I'm slowing down the, slowing it down. Slowing it down. And also make sure to add an antenna for a connection to the Kerbal Space Center so Bob can make maneuver nodes. And here we go. We made a successful landing on Minmus. Bob looks pretty happy about the situation. So now you're just gonna do your typical science stuff, you know. And then you're gonna, once you get out of the capsule, you're gonna do a EVA report and a surface sample. And also, I'd strongly recommend placing a flag to mark a biome that you've already been to. Now, it's pretty hard to do this on console, but on PC you can do this easily by naming the flag after the biome. Obviously, I'm pretty much copying what Matt Lown does, but don't we all? I mean, okay, everyone has learned how to play this game from Matt Lown and Scott Manley. I mean, that's just a fact. Now, before I do my biome hop, I'm gonna make a quick save, just in case, if anything goes wrong. So now I'm gonna point my lander slowly towards the lesser flats. Now, Minmus is so small, you really don't need that much delta V to biome hop. So you're just gonna point it in the direction, check the map, and until you are on a collision course with the right biome. I mean, obviously you don't want to collide with the biome, but you want to make a nice landing on there. And then after we do our science here, we're going to go to our third biome, which is the Great Flats, and we're in the Lesser Flats. And off we go to the other biome. So I accidentally ended up landing in the lowlands, but that actually worked a lot better for us in the long run, which means it results in more science. And then you're gonna do the science, and I think you know the rest. It's pretty self-explanatory. We do that with the Great Flats now. And then you're gonna circularize around Minmus. And then you're gonna plot your course for Kerbin's atmosphere. Now you're gonna burn out your apoapsis until your periapsis is within the atmosphere. Now you don't have to do this, but usually I use the rest of my fuel to burn retrograde before I enter the atmosphere, just so it's a lot less fiery. deploy your parachute. And then recover. Here we have almost 2,000 science. Now my only recommendation for this one is that you get the nuclear engine, and I just so happen to be stupid enough where I didn't get the nuclear engine, so. Now, in the next episode we're going to be going to the Mun. Now, in the console version with the History and Parts DLC, I think, they have a Mun launch site. I could have unlocked it, but I kind of want to go to the Mun first and then unlock it. And I don't want to use it too much because there's probably some PC players watching this. But anyways, yeah. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.